With me on set is NBC's chief foreign affairs correspondent, Andrea Mitchell. And Andrea, it's striking to me that we didn't hear from the president of the United States after this meeting. We heard from the vice president. Not a difference in policy, but certainly notable differences in tone. What do you make of those nuances?
Absolutely, you've got it. And that was the perfect part of her comments last night, because she was emphasizing the humanitarian disaster, the need to get the hostages home, the need to end the war, which is not the first emphasis of Netanyahu. That's not what he wanted to project. But he came here thinking he was going to have this great stage. And instead, unexpectedly, the president of the United States is standing down from the campaign. And now the likely Democratic standard bearer is going to be the vice president. He's met her once in 2017 when she was a senator. But they don't have that relationship that he had with Joe Biden, which was of such long standing that there was a lot of friction built into it from a lot of disagreements.
You don't know anybody for 40 years and get along the whole time.
It's like actually, this wasn't a good marriage. This was a bad marriage, but they managed to keep it together. In any case, she puts the emphasis more on the humanitarian crisis. She has a lifelong commitment to Israel. As a little girl, she raised money for the state of Israel, the planting of trees. She's married to a Jewish man. They're observant. They follow the holidays. Doug Emhoff has been campaigning and making speeches all over the country for the past year about the scourge of anti-Semitism.
He's sort of the point person for the administration on that issue.
And it's deeply felt. So she has her street cred on all of that. But she puts a lot of emphasis, more than the administration did early on after some disastrous airstrikes in Gaza 3 weeks into the war. She was noting, true to her values, the devastation, the famine, and the need to get the hostages home. And the president has come around to that. Tony Blinken was there as well long before. But certainly that's not where Netanyahu is. And he keeps raising new obstacles on a deal that's on the table. In addition to which, Netanyahu comes to the White House. He's been trying to get this meeting for 3 years, Garrett. And he finally gets it, but he also has to attend a meeting with the American hostage families.
Right.
Who were already angry at him because they were invited to a, quote, intimate meeting with him Monday night at his hotel. And they discovered he had brought a lot of Israelis who were supporters of his on his plane, and they were dominating the meeting.
We had some of those families on this broadcast yesterday. Right. What do you make of the effort that the Prime Minister went to go down to Florida to meet with Donald Trump, who he'd not met with in person? What does that tell you about how he views the domestic political situation here in the United States? And what do you make of the theory that he'd rather be working on this issue with Donald Trump come next January than trying to find a ceasefire deal right now with Joe Biden?
And as you've reported, they had their own, friction, their own moments. But clearly, he is more comfortable with Donald Trump. First of all, he prolonged his trip. He needed to be back. We were told that he had to be back by 8 o'clock tonight, Israeli time, Friday night, the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath. Instead, he's staying over until the Sabbath is over, another 24 hours, by that detour to Mar-a-Lago. He was supposed to leave Thursday night. And also praising him in his speech to the joint meeting, and his very hard-right National Security Advisor, Itamar Ben-Gvir, the day of the speech announced that he was endorsing Donald Trump. Cabinet members in allied governments do not endorse opposition, candidates in the middle of a campaign.
A lot going on under the surface here. All politics is local. I appreciate you for breaking down the international to the local about how all of this is connected. Andrea Mitchell, we have to leave it there. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.